Among the many life lessons that 2020 has thrown at us this year, patience for car parts is definitely one of them. But I am happy to report that I have finally received some more forged carbon pieces for the Audi RS3. For those that follow the channel, you'll know that my side skirts and front splitter are already forged carbon from a company over east called Horsch Carbon. And the problem with going with something like forged carbon just to be different is that it's actually really difficult to find pieces to match. I've been looking for a spoiler for a while as well, and although Horsch Carbon do one, I'm not such a fan of their design, which is more of a ducktail design, but I have found a company in Hong Kong called RevoZport who do a nice forged carbon, and I'll show you that shortly. To go with that, I have also ordered a set of front canards from the guys at Horsch Carbon, which will also be fitting today. On top of that, I do have one more piece that is supposed to be arriving, but it isn't here yet. That is also from Horsch Carbon, and I'll keep that one a secret for now. But that will pretty much finish off the exterior forged carbon elements for the car. So without further ado, let's get cracking and fit the forged carbon spoiler and forged carbon front canards. Alright, before we get into fitting these parts, let's just do a quick unboxing and see what we've got. I've actually had a sneak peek at these already because I was kind of eager and just to make sure they weren't undamaged. But for the benefit of YouTube, we'll just have a quick squiz. So this is the forged carbon front canards from Horsch Carbon. Nice solid piece. So that's going to go on the front bumper. Just tuck into the brake duct there on the side and just give the car a bit more width, and that's really nice. You can see the forged carbon kind of pattern in there, and that will just pop out in the sun. So next up is the spoiler from RevoZport. It's a tricky one-handed. Alright, let me just unwrap this for you. 3, 2, 1. And there we go, that is the RevoZport forged carbon. I don't know what the model is, but you can see that it's obviously got that little cutout. And sort of a bit like an M-style aftermarket spoiler, I guess. And it's pretty hard to see the forged carbon in here, it kind of looks black. So let's get this out into the sun and see what it looks like. Bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what, add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Okay, we're going to start off by installing the spoiler for no reason at all except for the car's parked the right way around. And you may be asking yourself, Alex, do you know what you're doing? And the answer is definitely no. But the way I see it, at the end of this video, you'll know one of two things: either how to do the job correctly or how to definitely not do the job. Hopefully it's the former. All right, let's run through a couple of things that I think we're going to need. I'm going to use some masking tape just to mask off sort of around the edge of the spoiler, just to minimize any damage to the paint. We've got some fishing line. I'm hoping that that is going to be enough to slide underneath the spoiler to try and loosen the adhesive. We'll see how that goes. The heat gun, that's going to be to try and soften the adhesive that's already on there to make the fishing line sort of glide through it a bit more easy. And then some sort of goo remover to remove all the residue. Don't let your detailer see that. Paul, I'm sorry. Once the old spoiler is off, it should really just be a simple task of lining up the new one and then pulling away the 3M tape and attaching it. Fingers crossed. All right, let's get started and mask off the existing area. With
the adhesive now warmed up, it should be a little bit softer, so we can get our fishing line underneath that, and we're just going to kind of use it like a, I don't know, like a little saw backwards and forwards, and just slowly work our way from one end to the other and see how we go. So wish me luck.
I try to pick myself up, nothing's wrong with me yet, but maybe this bow tie was too much. I just have to be cool, looking like I'm Clint Eastwood, make the bad ugly. My mama said that I'm the good. We went to the club like we always do.
Alright, so it's not the easiest thing, and I would recommend wearing gloves, otherwise you get these kind of lines over your hands. I'm doubling up the fishing line. I'm finding that I'm snapping quite a bit. Obviously it depends on the gauge of the fishing line that you've got, but the double fishing line, whatever you want to call it, seems to work quite well. So it's a pretty slow process. Again, would recommend gloves, and you just got to be really patient and go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. So I shall carry on. Perfect. All right, one old spoiler off, and now we have all this residue to contend with. So in about 3 minutes, I've kind of gone from here to here, just using my fingertips to kind of roll the adhesive off. Avoid the temptation to use any scrapers or anything like that. It will damage your paint, which will be a disaster. So this is pretty boring stuff. I'm just going to finish this off. I'll catch you on the other side.
6 hours later.
Just kidding, it was only about 20 minutes. I ended up kind of just rolling it off with my fingers, and I've got 2 blisters to show for it. But anyway, it's all off. You can see majority of it is off, but we've got the leftover residue. So we just need to use some sort of residue remover, a clean rag, and kind of clean that area off. If you're a detailer, maybe look away now. I know this stuff doesn't harm the paintwork, but I'm sure you've got a more pro way of doing it. But anyway, this is a DIY, so this is how I'm going to do it.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me.
Alright, that's looking heaps better now, thanks to the goo remover. Most of the adhesive residue is off, and it is looking pretty schmick. Next step, very important, this one, get some sort of rubbing alcohol or surface prep, or whatever you can get your hands on. I've got this one here from 3M, and treat the entire surface with that just to get any oils, any last remaining bits of dirt off, so that the 3M tape has something to stick onto. And once the surface is totally prepped, time to take off the blue tape that we've put down before and attach the new spoiler. Interesting point, for those that have ceramic coating, the new spoiler is actually a little skinnier, so you have more of your boot surface showing, or the trunk, whatever you want to call it. What this means is that you can actually see where the ceramic coating finishes, and there's going to be a little strip about 5mm until you get to the actual spoiler. So that means, for me at least, I need to have the top of the trunk or the boot repolished and the ceramic coating put back on. You can just see a very faint line. So if that's you as well, just keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world. It's not a huge deal for a detailer to do. It's a fairly small panel, and they should be able to fix that up. Anyway, let's get this new one fitted up. When it comes to actually putting it down onto the trunk, don't take off all of the backing of the 3M tape. Just peel off a slight corner and just let it hang out of the edge like that. That way you can actually place it down onto the trunk. It'll adhere with these few little edges here, and then once you're happy with it, you can actually pull this out as you go along and it will stick down. That way you won't put it down in the wrong spot and get stuck with it there. You know, it'll give you some flexibility. Alright, let's get it fitted.
Add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck. Country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso. Add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it
So
up.
there we go guys, that is the fitment of the RevoZport forged carbon rear spoiler for the Audi RS3. In terms of quality, pretty happy with it. In terms of fitment, I'll probably give it like an 8 out of 10. You may have noticed a bit of tape at the back here, just holding one of the corners down, which is struggling to sit flush on the trunk. But once the adhesive sticks down, that will be fine. I think cost-wise, it was about $800. And because it's coming out of China, communication is a little bit tricky, but I just did it through WhatsApp, and the guys were pretty good. Alright, I know you're short on time. I'll give you a closer look at the spoiler a little bit later, but now let's get the car turned around and move on to the Horsch carbon forged front canards. Now, quality wise, these are again another top-notch unit. Everything from Horsch seems to be really good. And in terms of fitment, they are going right here. So we've got the front bumper, we've got the brake ducts here. These are going to sit sort of in there like that. Alright, as with everything that you're going to stick down, it's really important to prepare the area. So we're going to use our isopropyl alcohol solution just to clean up the area that we're going to stick to. And then we're going to mask off where we want the items to fit. Alright, then it's just a matter of holding up the actual canard and seeing where you want to fit it. You'll know you've got it in the right space because it kind of just naturally settles within the right lines of the body that match the actual edge of the canard. So for me, it's right at the bottom of the brake duct, and then along the side, it kind of just matches up with the line that goes across the actual wheel arch. So for me, that's pretty much perfect right there. I'm going to put some tape down just along the edges so that I know where to stick it once I've got the 3M tape off. So it's a little bit hard to see with the black on black, but it's kind of resting right on the bottom of the brake duct here. And then we're following the line that comes all the way down from the fender and just making sure that it continues down into the canard. So we've marked at the top here where the top of the canard is and where the edge is sitting inside the actual brake duct here. Alright, let's get the 3M off and stick it in place. And there we go guys, really simple. Alright, I'm going to duck across and do the other side quickly, and then we'll head out and have a quick look at it in the sun. And there we go guys, that is probably one of the simplest jobs that I've done on the RS3, literally a 5-minute task. And they look pretty good. So it wouldn't be a DIY if we didn't end with some glamour shots. Here we go.
So there we go guys, I really hope you enjoyed another DIY on my Audi RS3, and more importantly I hope it helps someone that might be looking to do the same jobs to their car. I'll leave all the information below for Horsch Carbon and RevoZport, just in case you guys feel like checking them out and maybe buying yourself something nice as well. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a big fat thumbs up, leave a comment and even consider subscribing. It really helps out little channels like mine to become bigger and better for you guys. But that's it from me. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.